Hey everyone, welcome back to this week's UB Chef Cook Along. I'm going to take you through the eight dishes in this week's menu. On the starter there's features a golden beetroot pastrami. On the main course there's some Cornish Plaice with a tomato fondue and a Parmesan crust. And one of the desserts this week is a returning one, the Pina Colada. So let's unpack the box, set the table, grab a drink and then let's get cooking. Here we have our weekly bake. This week we have our seeded rye sourdough, and that's going to come with a pepper dulce and seaweed butter. So to start with, we're going to put our bread in the paper in the oven at 190 for 10 to 12 minutes, and we're going to leave it to rest, but we'll be back to show you how to plate it up. So we're just about to plate up our bread. It's been in the oven for about 12 minutes, and we just let it to rest for another 2. So we're going to open it up from the paper. And in here now you can see our seeded sourdough. So let's put that on our side there, and then we're just going to I'm going to cut it into 4 this one. You can obviously do slices if you wish. It's just down to that personal preference. So cut it into the 4 there. I'm going to lift that onto our serving plate. Then the seaweed, pepper dulce and seaweed butter, sorry. Just got it here. I'm going to add some moulded salt to it on the top to finish it off. And I'm just going to get a fish slice or a palette knife, whichever you've got at home again. I'm just going to go underneath that and again put it onto our serving dish. And we can that's all ready to go to the table. So we have our seeded sourdough, we've got pepper dulce butter. So here we have our bisque of crab and lobster, and to serve with that, we've got our fresh picked crab meat, some crayfish tails and flat parsley, a little vat pack bag here of shellfish oil, and then finally our brown crab and Comte toasty. So we're going to put this in the oven for 8 minutes. While it's in the oven, we're going to decant this into a pan and gently warm that, and then I'll be back to show you how to plate it up. So we're just about to place up our shellfish bisque. Our brown crab cheese toasty has come out the oven. We're just leaving it there to cool down slightly. So as always, we have our heated serving plate. We'll just put that in front of us. So to start with, we're going to go with this that's just been gently warmed, and we're going to pour that into the centre of our serving bowl. Just fill in the bottom there. Then we're going to get our toasty, and using a fish slice, we're just going to get underneath that, and then just be careful where it might be hot, and just put it to the side of the bowl. Then we're going to get a spoon, and in here we've got a mixture of the white crab meat, some crayfish tails, and some flat parsley, and that's just in the eco bag there. We're just going to spread that around the dish. Some more of it here. Just keep spreading that around. Do one more big spoonful in the centre, so you can see all those lovely crayfish tails, the picked crab meat, and that flat parsley. And to finish that off, we're just going to get our shellfish oil. Just take the little corner off the eco bag there, and then using it almost as like a little pipette, just going to sprinkle some round to finish the dish off. And then there we have the starter of the shellfish bisque with a crab and cheese toasty. So for our meat starter, we have a smoked ham hock Kiev, and in the centre we've got a caper, parsley and lemon butter. To go with that, we have our spring pea salad and a lemon dressing. So the lemon dressing just arrives in the container with the spring pea salad. So to start off, we're going to put this in the oven for 10 to 12 minutes, or until the butter is melted and soft in the centre. So to start with, that's going into the oven, and we'll be back to plate this one up. Back to our ham hock Kiev. It's been in the oven now, and we can tell that butter's nice and soft in the centre. So I'm just going to carefully remove that and just leave it to cool slightly before we finish plating off. So like I said, the pea salad comes with the lemon dressing. I'm just going to decant this into the bowl. So we've got some pea shoots in there, then some spring peas and edamame beans as well. Just get rid of the container. We're going to open up our lemon dressing, and we're going to pour this over our salad, but we're going to keep some back just to finish off the dish at the end. So that's probably enough in there. Just put that to one side, grab our spoon, and we're going to give this a good mix round, just so it's all coated by that lemon dressing. And we're going to start with getting some of the peas, and we're going to spread it round here. And you can do, if you want, add a bit of moulded salt to this to season it up, depending on your preference and how you like your food. So going around with these peas here, just keeping those pea shoots till the end, just making like a little nest for that ham hock Kiev. And we're going to get some of these pea shoots, and we're going to bring them round like so. We're going to keep some of those pea shoots back, so we're just going to put some on top of the Kiev to give the dish a bit more of the height. See with this one, it's really using all those lovely spring flavours. So once you've got it like that, again, I'm just going to add a touch of molten salt onto the top of the Kiev. And using a gazundor, if you want, you can just go in your hands, just going to lift it up and place that in the centre. Get a couple more of those pea shoots, just a small handful of them, and seal them on the top, like so. And we're going to get that dressing that we saved from earlier. Just going to finish that off by pouring a few droplets around like so. And then there we have our starter of the smoked ham hock Kiev with the lemon caper butter in the middle. Here we have our vegetarian starter. This week we have a lovely golden beetroot pastrami style. So we've smoked the beetroot and rubbed it in the pastrami spices. That's going to be served with a whipped goat's curd. We have a beetroot relish, and finally we have crispy beetroots and candied walnuts. So if you've got your beetroots and your walnuts and they do feel a little bit soft, feel free to put them in the oven for about 1 to 2 minutes and just to crisp them back up. So to start plating, I've got my plate here. I'm going to get some of this beetroot relish and just with a spoon, I'm going to take a spoonful, I'm going to put it into the centre of our serving plate here, and I'm just going to lightly spread that out so it's a smooth circle, just like that. Then next up, we're going to get our beetroot carpaccio, and we're just going to flip it over, and like always we have a presentation side. So the presentation side is this bit here, so we want to flip it over and then just from the back remove that first bit of paper, and then we're going to flip it back round and we're going to place that just over the relish. You can see it covers it, and we just push it down, remove that bit, and then you can see you've got the nice presentation side up. Just before we finish off the plate, I'm just going to get a bit of rapeseed oil. Let's pull it over, and also just a touch of molten salt as well. Just a little bit there like that. And finally, we're going to get our whipped goat's curd, and we're just going to pipe this around the plate, like this here. You can see on the golden beetroot, just on the outside is all that pastrami spice, so when you get it you have like a nice little peppery, anisey flavour with it, and with a real subtle hint of smoke as well. And then just to finish it off, we've got our deep fried beetroots, which we're just going to arrange round. So we've got the candied ones there as well as your standard red ones. We've got some of these walnuts, where we've just been cooked in a sugar syrup till they crystallise. And then we deep fry them, and then it gives you a really nice crunchy texture. And then again, we just add some of the molten salt, just to sort of bring the flavour out on them. We'll just finish off with a few more of the crisps. Over there, and then there we have our vegetarian starter of the beetroot pastrami with the beetroot relish and whipped goat's curd. So here we have this week's fish course. So we have a Cornish fillet of plaice with an Isle of Wight tomato fondue and a Parmesan crust on the top. That's coming with some charred tender stem broccoli, semolina gnocchi, and a lovely Noilly Prat sauce. So to start with, we're going to put into the oven the plaice without the lid on, about 10 to 12 minutes, just till that fish is cooked through. And for when you get to about 6 to 8 minutes left on that timer, we're going to put our broccoli in and our semolina gnocchi, but both of those are going to go into the oven with the lid loosely retained like this. So to start with, I'm going to put this plaice into the oven, and we'll be back to plate this one up. To plate up our plaice dish, I'm just going to start by getting our hot plate from under the grill. So I said all of this has been in the oven, lids have been on, so we'll just get rid of those. So to start with, we had our plaice in, that's just come out of the oven. Going to get our fish slice, we're going to carefully go underneath that. We're going to place it to one side on our serving dish. Just place there like that. So you can see there you've got the Parmesan crust that's just been coloured, and underneath that you've got the Isle of Wight tomato fondue. Next up, we're going to get our charred tender stem broccoli. Just going to place it alongside it, just overlapping it slightly. Couple more bits to go on here. One last piece, put down there. Then we're going to get our little semolina gnocchis. Just going to place in between the broccoli. In the gnocchi you've got a bit of nutmeg, lemon, and it's just been rolled in the semolina then deep fried. And to finish that off, I'm just going to get my Noilly Prat sauce. It's just been warming gently. So in here we make a stock with the fish bones, then we reduce that right down with some cream and finish it off with Noilly Prat. So we're just going to put some on the plate, in between, coming up round. And then there we have it. So this is our Plaice dish with Isle of Wight tomato fondue, Parmesan crust and semolina gnocchi. Here we have our meat main course. We have the boned and rolled saddle of lamb with wild garlic and a lamb farce in the centre. Our take on a lamb shoulder hot pot, our red wine sauce, fishy carrot puree and the buttered cabbage. So to start with, I've already taken my lamb out of the bag, and if you don't have a J-cloth at home, you could just use a bit of kitchen roll. So we're just going to pat off any of the excess moisture on there, pat that dry, and what we're going to do is we're just going to stand it up like that, quickly wash our hands, and we're going to get some Maldon salt, and we're just going to season round the lamb fat, just like that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to start to colour this in our pan, and we're going to get a really nice golden brown colour on that. The darker the colour is more flavour, so we want to go a really nice golden brown colour without burning it, and then that's going to go into the oven for 14 minutes. I'm going to be back in a minute to show you what it looks like before it goes into the oven, so we'll see you then. So here we have the lamb that I've just coloured off, so you can see the colour of it before I go to put that in the oven. This one here is a portion for one, so I'm going to put that in the oven for 14 minutes. Obviously, if you have a portion for 2, 3 or 4, just refer to the booklet to see how long you need to cook it for, as the cooking times will vary. While that's cooking, we've got our red wine sauce here, our carrot puree and our buttered cabbage. If at home you don't have any of these nice little sauces that we've got here, what you can do is, I've got a big pan of water here, I've just brought that to the boil, and while the lamb's in the oven, you can just drop those 3 in there like that, and then they'll be hot and warm, ready to serve once your lamb's ready. So we'll be back in those 14 minutes to show you how to plate this one up. Lamb's out of the oven, it's been resting now for about 2 or 3 minutes, and we're going to get plating. We've got a heated serving plate to start with. First things first, there's some string around that lamb, so we just want to carefully, with a pair of scissors, just remove it. So I'm just going to take our scissors here, make a little snip, and just pull it off, going around the lamb, making sure all that string's removed before we start plating up. So now that's removed, we're just going to leave it there to get the plate ready. So first of all, if you want to get a bit chefy, if you've got some rings at home, you can get a ring and just to one side, put it on, and get your buttered cabbage, and then just spoon that into the centre. Try not to spill any on the plate as you go. So we'll get that in there, and we're just going to push it down. So in there we've got a mixture of carrots, shallot, thyme, rosemary, a little bit of mustard as well. Everything that works really well with this lamb dish. So once that's on, move that to one side, and we'll just quickly remove anything that we spilt. Lift that off, and we've got a nice roundel of cabbage. Next up, we're going to get a spoon of our puree. Just going to get one big spoon of it and cup it round like that, and then as you do it, carefully let it just fall off your spoon, then straight up like a little quenelle. We've got our lamb press in here. Before that goes on, we're just going to get a bit of our warm sauce. And there's James there just helping me out as I made a little bit of mess on the plate. So this is our lamb sauce, and we're just going to take a little bit and we just pour it over just to glaze up that lamb pressing before it goes to the table. Once you've got a bit of that sauce on there as well, again, just a touch of the Maldon salt. Using our fish slice, going to go underneath to remove it from the container. Pull it onto our board and then lift it up, and we're going to put it in that gap that's left. And finally, for the lamb, obviously this is a portion of one, so what I'm going to do for this one is just I'm going to take it off, I'm going to cut this straight in half. If you've got a portion of 2, 3, 4, all you want to do is you just want to go straight in half and then serve the presentation side, which will be the bit where you've just cut. So for the one though, so I'm not wasting any, I'm just going to go straight through that centre. And then as you can see, you've got your lamb there with the farce going through the centre. To finish it off, again, just a real small amount of Maldon salt before it goes onto the plate. Going to lift that onto our cabbage, like so. Just carefully balancing it on there, and get our sauce to finish it off. So again, a little bit more over the pressing, and then just around that plate. And here we have the main course for you, which is our stuffed and rolled saddle of Welsh lamb with wild garlic, our lamb hot pot, and a Vichy carrot puree. Here we have our vegetarian main course. We've got a Tarte Fine of olive white tomatoes with a saffron and Parmesan polenta, smoked ricotta, a tomato water dressing, and then a basil and spinach salsa. So to start with, we're just going to take our used chef paper off our Tarte Fine and place it into the middle of our tray that's going to go into the oven. Using a palette knife or again a fish slice, just get underneath that tart and carefully lift it up and place it onto that paper. And then what we're going to do next, just get rid of that board. Just going to grab a plate and then, so these are the olive white tomatoes. We've just lightly seasoned them and semi-dried them. I'm just going to cut them out of the bag so it's a bit easier to grab them. And then we're going to start arranging these on top of our Tarte Fine before it goes into the oven. So in here we've got a different selection of the tomatoes. The olive white tomatoes are really fantastic. They're obviously grown here locally to us, but they're used all around the country by different chefs. So just when you're doing it, you just want to try and get a mixture of those colours all around the tart, and we just want to completely cover the bottom of that saffron and Parmesan polenta. So these are really nice. We tend to use these quite a lot during the springtime because as you see we get all these nice different coloured ones. We do a lot of salads with them. They don't need much doing to them to be honest. Just a bit of seasoning and then garnish them up how you like. Just keep covering it up here. Put that one into there, move the green one over here. Got a few more of the yellow ones. And once this is done, we're just going to pop this into the oven for about 8 minutes, and then we're going to come back once we're ready to finish placing it up. So just move that to the side. So like I said, this is just going to go into the oven now, and we'll be back to place up. So the Tarte Fine's just come out the oven, and we're going to place it up. We've got our heated serving plate, and where it's quite big, I'm going to use 2 of the fish slices. So I've got one underneath. We're just going to get the other one under the other side. And we're going to carefully lift it up, and we're going to place it into the centre of our serving plate. Just be careful not to knock any of those tomatoes off. Move that tray to one side. Next up, we've got our smoked ricotta. We're just going to take off the end of the piping bag, and we're going to pipe little dots. So as I said, just pipe little dots around the Tarte Fine, leaving space for the next element of the dish. So a few more. There we go. Then what I've done with the basil and spinach pesto, I've just cut the corner off the bag, and so we're going to sort of use it the same as that piping bag, filling in the gaps we've left from the smoked ricotta. Do a couple more, and here we have it. And finally, to finish it off, we've got tomato water dressing. So what we do is we get the tomatoes, we just marinate it in some white wine vinegar with some white wine, salt, have some diced shallots through there as well, and then that's just finishing off the dish. And there we have our olive white Tarte Fine with the Parmesan and saffron polenta, basil and sweet smoked ricotta. This dessert here, we have the Pina Colada. So here we have our Pina Colada. We've got a coconut parfait with a pineapple and rum centre. We have a compressed pineapple and rum salad, pineapple gel, and the crispy coconut. To plate this one up, I'm going to start with the compressed pineapple and rum salad. Just got a small dice of it here, and what we've done is we've just peeled the pineapple, sorry, not potato, and we've put it into our vat pack machine with some rum, and we've just compressed it so you get a really nice intense pineapple and rum flavour from that. I'm going to spread that into a circle, again just to make like a little nest for the parfait to sit in. So I'll carry on spooning that on now. Just building it up until we've used it all up. Just a little bit more. So now we've got that little circle. Just move that to one side. We'll get our actual parfait. So it's just been rolled in some desiccated coconut. I'm just going to sit it on there. Get our knife. Take the end of our piping bag off, and then we're just going to pipe little dots on the actual salad. So the best thing to do is, rather than working around the pineapple, just spin the plate to make it work for you, to make it a bit easier. So some of them can come slightly off the salad, again some of them on, going around until you make it back to where you started, which is just here. And then to finish that off, we've got this crispy coconut. So we've just sliced the coconut really thin, and then we've just dehydrated it in the oven and dusted it in some sugar to give it a nice little crisp finish. So break some of those ones up a little bit. They're just going to sit on top. Let's get a few more. And then there we have it. We have our Pina Colada dessert for you. Enjoy. Here we have the Rhubarb and Custard dessert. We have a egg custard tart slice. We have our poached rhubarb carpaccio, rhubarb gel, and then our poached rhubarb with stem ginger and lemon thyme. So to plate this one up, first of all I'm going to start with the carpaccio. We're just going to remove one of the layers of the paper. I'm going to flip that around and put it just into the centre of our serving plate on a slight angle like that, and then carefully peel back that second layer. We get rid of that stuff. Going to get, again, using our trusty fish slice, get our custard slice, and we're going to put that on, going straight across the carpaccio like that. Next, we're going to get a little spoon. I'm going to go with the poached rhubarb. So, you've just got the battens here, and you can almost do like a little crisscross on them, just finding out which way looks best. So, and then as well, got a little bits of stem ginger, which we're just going to get onto the plate with the lemon thyme. So this is our little take on a rhubarb and custard. So you got your custard tart with the poached rhubarb, and then to finish this one off, we've got a little bit of the rhubarb gel, which we're just going to pipe a few dots. And then some of that syrup in that is really, really nice. So we're just going to take a little bit of spoonful, and again just dress the plate with it. So a touch more, going around this side as well, just to finish it off. There we have it. That's our take on our rhubarb and custard. We've finished cooking all the dishes now. I hope you've really enjoyed it. If you take any pictures, tag us on Instagram at UBChef. And hopefully we'll see you again next time.